a lot of you remember when we had the fun day here on the program with Dan Wheldon, the Indy driver. Funny guy, great sense of humor, beautiful family, and, of course, even was driving to bring attention to the ongoing battle with Alzheimer's, having the mother, which who would ever say that might have been a blessing yesterday, but who is fighting Alzheimer's and was killed yesterday in Las Vegas. The Indy race, the whole Indy series has had a tough time on loss of fan base and been struggling a little bit.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I believe that first of all,
is it economy? I mean, I think everything is down a little bit, sporting wise, racing wise.
It is, and which when it gets more and more, I think a lot of people believe that the Indy series, and who knows how that played into yesterday. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just speaking frankly about the marketing of it. Is that in NASCAR, you can go to the big tracks, and in NASCAR you can have 80 different people, 80 lead changes, not different people, but 80 different times somebody goes front, then back to the front. And, you can have lead changes. They race right together. Fans love that. And the Indy cars, because of the way they're made.
Right. You just can't be rubbing and bumping because wheels are exposed and they go flying.
And they're unbelievable pieces of machinery, but they just have never been able to capture the big American audience that the NASCAR was able to capture. And so and then they went through the deal, remember, where they all split up. Some of them stayed with Indy and some went with another organization. You remember they all broke up and it messed up the Indianapolis
CART and Indy Racing League.
Yes, right. And it messed up the Indianapolis 500, which was kind of their
Now they've got that back right.
Yeah, they got that. I think they did. Yeah. But anyway, they've been through a lot. And Dan Wheldon was one of those guys that was good for the series, and he's a very colorful guy, great personality, and we had him on the show a while back. His picture of the day today with us, and unfortunately, he was killed in this horrific crash at Las Vegas yesterday. Man, I mean, this is one of the worst crashes they've had, and we've got some different coverage of it. And Speedy, you can just kind of direct me on some of the things. You got to know that they had car cams and things like that. So,
the one we're going to be watching and listening to, it starts off with his car cam and kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. The announcers are kind of explaining to you what kind of the condition of the race and where they're at in it.
Think about this. He's in that car right now. He has no idea that his time on Earth is seconds.
Spots, you're on board with him. And one thing he was worried about going into this race was all that dirty air created by 34 cars.
But right now, the position he's in, he actually has a small advantage because everybody else is opening the air up in front of him. And here we go.
Trouble, contact, and a huge crash. Up in turn number 2. Oh, multiple cars involved. Oh, my. It looks like Dan Wheldon may be involved in it.
And Eddie, you and I spoke about this morning on the drive-in. Just this amount of cars, the speed, just the chance for what they call the big one.
Now, they were going about 220 miles an hour, and we're going to go back, and I'm going to show you, for those of you, I apologize, can't see this, but the guys, so you can explain it to them, I'm going to try to show you which one he is. All right. If you'll look on the bottom of the track,
I see him going airborne right there.
Right there.
Look at that.
All right, now watch him. Now he's going to keep going. All right, follow that car.
Oh boy!
And now he's going to hit the O'Reilly sign and the protective fence. And when he hits, that's him right there.
That's the fire.
Yes, that's him right there. And then as he comes down,
well,
the
there's
angles,
so many cars.
Here he is here.
I see you.
And then here he is right here. I'm gonna follow him with my
cursor.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Right there.
Well, they said what gave him the no chance at life was when that car went airborne and went right into the wall in the air.
There's just a piece of his car left right there. And, of course, those Indy cars are designed to come apart, too, to try to bleed off that energy. But he was on, it looked like the lower part of the track, and then went airborne and flew up and hit the wall on the top side. He didn't even drive into it. He flew into it.
Yeah. And it's bad, too, when in the coverage and, they're going back over, what happened. It's a bad wreck when 3 or 4 are airborne and the announcers have to go, he's the second one airborne.
It's airborne, yeah.
And if he would have hit the protective or the what's it called, the little fence,
safer barrier.
Safer barrier. Thank you. Like the other ones did, they felt like he would have been okay. But what got him is when he went up into the fence.
Well, and plus, when that car goes airborne, guys, I mean, the laws of physics. I mean, you can't take an automobile with you sitting in it with your head uncovered and throw you and be thrown into a fence at that speed and live. It's no way.
Right. Yeah, well, that's that's another problem with those cars. You're limited what's around you. I mean, your head's sticking out of it,
and that's how he hit, like that. So, horrific crash, and of course, all the people who are involved in the Indy Series and follow it. It's a very, very sad day, and the fact that this is a guy that we obviously weren't dear friends with, but had a chance to spend some time with, made it a little more personal with us too. And I remember
very nice.
And
I was impressed.
He was just funny. He was funny.
Yeah, he was making fun of our accent. We were like, buddy, you're the one with the accent here,
right? Yeah.
Guys, here is I know we're leaning on the break here, but here's another car angle of what happened. Oh man, I lost it. Here it is. Here,
this is where you get all these in-car cameras really give you a different look at all this. I mean, you literally
he was Patrick. Exactly what happened in this 15-car melee.
And Eddie, as we know, when you're driving along at these speeds, you're going the length of a football field in less than a second. So
there's somebody airborne right there.
In front of you.
Watch this tire come hit him.
Time.
It's impossible. You have no
Watch
time
this
to
tire
do anything.
come.
What happens maybe is just a small miscommunication between two drivers.
Here's Danica Patrick's view right here.
As you know, we talked about it a moment ago. It's just reactionary time.
This was her last Indy race, right?
Yeah.
Clear path for you to
look at that car right there off to her right.
Right, and then this footage here stops right before Dan goes right over her. Dan flies over her.
Then filled with other cars or debris, but for
so it's just, I mean,
those in-car cameras or something, aren't they?
Really are. They give you quite a perspective.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of fire, and I mean, it was just it was absolutely horrifying. So Dan Wheldon leaves behind a wife and two small children. I mean, two little bitty children. So you got to be praying and thinking about that wife today. She faces a whole different world now. And so Dan Wheldon, Indy driver, killed yesterday at Las Vegas. A picture of him with us on the webpage there. Picture of the day today. And remember all the people involved in that family and with that series as they go through the worst case scenario today.